Guys, in the whole investment appraisal chapter, we had a brief discussion around the risk component and we looked at 4 different ways of incorporating risk in terms of our investment appraisal. There were 4 methods through which we tried to incorporate the element of risk. Can someone repeat those methods for me?
Sensitivity analysis, simulation, expected value, and adjusted payback.
Okay. Now,
even discounted payback.
Discounted payback and risk adjusted rate of return. That was also an additional method of incorporating risk in investment appraisal that we studied in cost of capital. वहाँ पे हमने जो de-gearing और re-gearing किया, wherein we applied specific financial risk impact and business risk impact while calculating our total cost of equity for a particular project. We calculated the equity beta, we calculated the asset beta. Based on that, we calculated a revised cost of equity. Based on that, then we decided to use कि नहीं चलो अब मेरा ये नया business है wherein I have taken beta from an existing company. I have removed the impact of the capital structure. Now I have applied my own capital structure ka impact on it, and what I have with me right now is my updated beta value. That was the beta which I used in my capital asset pricing model, and I arrived at my updated cost of equity. The whole formula where I do KE is equal to risk-free rate of return plus beta into RM minus RF. I'm talking about that particular formula. Okay? Do you remember this discussion?
Yes, sir.
What was the whole point of this discussion? Why did we incorporate risk into investment appraisal? Can you walk me through it? What is the meaning of risk?
It is the uncertainty that can be calculated.
It is basically incorporating or assigning a number to the uncertainty in my investment appraisal decision.
Right.
Okay. Now, when I talk of uncertainty, when we did the whole discussion around sensitivity analysis, what was my major concern? That what if my sales price were to drop by a certain level? What is the amount of or the percentage fall in my selling price which I can tolerate till my NPV becomes negative, correct? That was the point of concern when we discussed risk component in investment appraisal. Now, when and then we had lots of methods to handle it. Right now, what we are going to discuss is a very interesting concept of how to handle risk when it comes to the interest rates and how to handle risk when it comes to foreign exchange. Now, you tell me, what do you want to do first? You want to do foreign exchange first or you want to do interest rate first? Interest rate छोटा है, interest rate relatively easy है.
Interest rates.
Interest rate, okay. Say
Sir, पहले
suppose
बड़ा वाला करो.
Forex.
So take Forex because
Yes, sir.
in the end, if we get
Now
tired,
we are
we can
finished, sir.
do.
okay, you want me to do foreign exchange first. Okay, let's do that.
So essentially for foreign exchange and interest rate risk, we shouldn't refer any other materials. These 2 chapters, right?
Specifically these 2 chapters and only these 2 chapters. सिर्फ मैंने जो क्लास में सिखाया है और जो लिखवाया है बस उतना ही आप लोग रेफर करेंगे, उसको छोड़ के आप कुछ भी रेफर नहीं करेंगे.
Okay,
And
sir.
our class today will run for a full 4-hour duration. When I say foreign exchange risk, okay, again foreign exchange में एक point पे आके मैं आज रोक दूंगा and I'll go to interest rate because there's a part in foreign exchange risk which talks about money market hedge. वो दोनों concepts एक ही दिन समझाओ ना तो बहुत ज़्यादा confusion होता है. That is why what I am going to do is I am going to cover one part first and then I am going to move on to the other tomorrow. आज सिर्फ foreign exchange में 75% करके रोक दूंगा. उसके बाद remaining part I might discuss interest rate risk or some other theory part which is remaining. Okay. Now, foreign exchange risk is basically the risk of fluctuation in the foreign exchange rate. Okay. Let's create our own examples to understand this. Prakash is an exporter. I know, Prakash, you are not in India, but we are going to assume that you are in India.
No issue, sir. Whatever you like.
Prakash is in India. Okay, and Prakash sells goods worth USD 1 lakh. Okay. Okay. Nikhil is in USA. अब यार ये तो हम बहुत टाइम से we are experiencing this in life that whatever might be the situation, हमको US, you have to follow the terms of trade laid down by your counterparty in the US. So if they say that invoicing has to be done in dollars, you have to do the invoicing in dollars. So Prakash is sitting in India. He sells something to Nikhil. Nikhil is sitting in the United States, and the total value of goods sold in US terms is $1 lakh. Okay. Now the date of sale is, say, आज का डेट है 08/05/2021. 1 लाख बहुत ज्यादा हो जाएगा, नंबर बहुत बड़ा दिखता है. Let's make it $10,000. Date of sale is 8,25,000. Now, in Prakash's books of accounts, he will have to record an entry debtor account debit to sales. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But Prakash is sitting in India, and because he is sitting in India, his financial statements, his books of accounts have to be maintained in the currency which is of this country, which is our home currency, rupees. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Prakash must maintain and record entries in home currency, that is INR. So even if he wants to do that in dollars, he can't do it. He has to record it in INR. On date of sale, that is 8th of May 2021, rate of exchange is 1 USD is equal to, say, INR 75. इसके आसपास ही रेट चलता है. So when he records an entry, Nikhil is his debtor. He records an entry, Nikhil account debit, sales account. USD 10,000 into 75 USD. यहाँ पे कितना हो जाएगा? 10,000 into 75, 7,50,000. Very cool so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Nikhil was given a credit period. Prakash is in India. Prakash is an exporter. Okay, this fact we have established. Now, date of payment is 1 month from now, which is 08/06/2021. 8th of June 21 आ जाता है. Probably, you know, on that date, some change has happened in Indian economy. There has been a change. उसके वजह से क्या हुआ? The rate of exchange on this day is unfortunately 1 USD is equal to INR 72. Okay? 1 USD is equal to INR 72. अब निखिल बैठा है USA में, वो बोलेगा प्रकाश को, okay, I'm supposed to pay you $10,000 ना, ये लो, I have transferred the money to your account. But when the money hits Prakash's account, when he sends it, it will have to be converted into Indian currency, which is Indian rupees, because Prakash को जो पैसा मिलेगा, that will have to be converted into Indian rupees before he takes it out of the bank. So when he goes on this particular day, उनको पैसा मिलता है $10,000 and he collects that amount, he records an entry, bank account debit to निखिल. निखिल बोलेगा भाई मुझे तुमको $10,000 देना था, मैंने तुमको $10,000 दे दिया. 10,000 into 72. You see what has happened? Because there was a change in the exchange rate after 1 month. I was supposed to collect 7,50,000 as per Indian rupees from Nikhil, I matlab Prakash. But on the date of collection, because there was a change in exchange rate, the amount that he actually ended up collecting was not 7,50,000 rupees. It was only 7,20,000. This right here is what I mean by foreign exchange risk. Take time to absorb whatever I'm telling you. Don't be in a rush. We have time. Now course is very much on track. I don't have a problem. You look at this and tell me if there is anything that you haven't understood.
It's clear, sir. Very nicely explained.
Now, problem क्या होता है ना? हाँ बोलो.
So when INR changed from 75 to 72, that means rupee has appreciated, right?
आते हैं. Don't worry, we will come to that. अभी के लिए रिस्क का क्या मीनिंग है इन टर्म्स ऑफ फॉरेन एक्सचेंज? इज दैट क्लियर? अब ये अगर ये समझो $1 का 72 के जगह 76 होता तो इट वुड बी एन अपवर्ड मूवमेंट, नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम फॉर यू. रिस्क इंपोर्टर होगा. लेट्स लुक एट एन इंपोर्टर एंगल. अभी तक आई हैवंट टोल्ड यू हाउ टू कैलकुलेट कोट्स, नथिंग. आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू एक्सप्लेन यू व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ रिस्क. अब Nikita is an importer. Nikita is in India. She buys goods from, say, Jaini, who is in USA. Same कर, सब same होगा. Say date of purchase. निकिता ने परचेज किया 09/06/2021 को. जैनी यूएसए में बैठी है तो शी विल सेंड an invoice or a bill to Nikita in US dollar की ये लो मैडम, send me, this is the invoice copy which I am sending you along with the goods that you have ordered. Now whenever the due date comes you have to make me the payment. Now Nikita is in India and she should record all entries in INR. On the date of purchase, exchange rate is 1 USD is equal to INR 75. Same. And यहाँ पे मैं लिख देता हूँ invoice value. Invoice value is 10,000. सब same हो रहा है. What entry will Nikita record? Her entry will be purchase account debit. नहीं, ये entry मत पूछना है ऐसे क्यों किया.
So
हाँ
I have one doubt.
बोलो.
So we like invoice date and the actual date of, like, say example invoice. This will be done later on, or I'm going out of the context. Like invoice, like the goods will be sold later on. So I build the like, sorry, if I bill a person say in 1st Feb, and the goods is reaching to him in 1st of March, and the payment will be released. But in invoice, my time of INR in March was 75. But when the goods was given to him, I will say that my goods will be recorded at 74. You understand?
Right now, I understand what you are saying, but don't get into the whole date of delivery, date of invoice. उसमें मत पड़ो. Assuming that invoice is sent to her online, she purchase मतलब she, for example, you know, आपने जब आपका ACCA का फीस भरते हो, right? वो तो उस डेट का होता है ना. Don't get into the whole delivery कब होगा and all of that. Just think कि invoice simultaneously was sent to her on email and she recorded the entry.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Now, on the date of purchase, she recorded an entry for this purchase 10,000 USD into INR 75 per USD. Date of settlement of invoice. Suppose this is 9th of June को किया ना, say 10th of August. 2 months credit period दिया है. On this day, rate of exchange is how much? It is 1 USD is equal to INR 77. On this date, rate of exchange is 1 USD is equal to INR 77. Jaini says, I need $10,000 to be paid to me. अब वो तुम्हारे करेंसी में कितना आता है? I don't give a damn. I need to be paid $10,000. So Jaini is a creditor. I am making that payment to her. It will be Jaini account debit to bank. जिस दिन मेरा कैश आउटफ्लो हो रहा है, on that particular day, rate of exchange is not 75 anymore, it is 77. And because it is 77, मैंने liability record किया 7,50,000 पे, but मेरा जब actual settlement हुआ, that settlement happened at 7,70,000, which means I had to pay an amount which is 20,000 more than the amount of liability which I had booked. As an importer, this is foreign exchange risk for me.
Sorry, so I'm getting confused. Why Jaini is 7,70,000? Because like I'll get like 7,70,000, but Jaini's account is recorded as 7,50,000. Then
So,
balance
you have
will
to
come
pay.
as loss or gain, right?
हाँ, ठीक है, but यहाँ तक what I'm trying to tell you is 7,70,000 is my outflow, correct?
हाँ.
फिर जो आपका loss on sale होगा, loss on sale नहीं, sorry,
Profit.
loss on forex transaction या forex loss, you will debit that account and any account will be credited. ये 20,000. Okay. Don't get into the accounting part of it. यहाँ पे accounting ये आपका objective नहीं है. यहाँ पे objective कुछ और है. I am more interested in the total outflow that is happening from my bank account, not the amount that I am debiting to the individual account. Conceptually, from a foreign exchange risk angle, did you understand what I am trying to tell you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, one more thing. अगर आप market में foreign exchange futures, options, आप actually कर रहे होंगे, anything that you are doing in the real world, specifically ये दो chapter के लिए तो बिल्कुल class में मत लाना. आपने किसी और से कुछ सुना होगा, कहीं और कुछ पढ़ा होगा. If you bring it to the class, you will only end up confusing yourself. Do not try to add any more flavor to what I am telling you. बाकी के chapters में ठीक है, we can play around. यहाँ पे please listen to me. जितना मैं बोलूँगा उतना ही करना. उससे ज़्यादा कुछ मत करना. Specifically from an exam point of view. फिर real life में जो होता है, we can have a separate discussion on that. And guys, सारे के सारे cameras बंद है यार. I can't teach like this. निकिता, at least आप ऑन रखो. बाकियों को तो मैं बोल बोल के थक गया. आप ऑन रखो. At least I feel that I am talking to someone. Okay. So the risk component in this, did you realize risk कहाँ पर है? What is the risk that I as an importer or I as an exporter am facing in this particular situation? Did you realize that? Exchange rate fluctuation is the risk that I am facing. If I am an exporter, the risk that I am facing is different. If I am an importer, the risk that I am facing is in a different direction. But nevertheless, risk ये है कि मेरा total foreign exchange inflow, जैसे यहाँ पे I had booked an asset. यहाँ पे मैंने एक receivable करके asset book किया था 750, but वो बंदे से मुझे सिर्फ 720 मिला. 30,000 loss is my foreign exchange risk. And यहाँ पे एक liability मैंने 7,50,000 पे book किया था. But when I went to settle that liability, I had to pay 20,000 more. As an importer, that is my risk. My risk is the excess amount that my cash flow hit takes because there is an upward or a downward movement in the foreign exchange rate. यहाँ तक समझा?
Yes, sir.
Now, let us understand how to quote foreign currency. to write a quote of foreign currency. Now, tell me something. When you get, समझो आपने किसी को सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड किया एंड यू रेज्ड अ बिल ऑन दैट पार्टी सिटिंग इन द यूएसए, और आपने $10,000 का उनको एक इनवॉइस सेंड किया, ठीक है. नाउ सपोज निकिता को मैंने $10,000 का इनवॉइस भेजा. निकिता विल सेंड मी, उनके अकाउंट से वो $10,000 मेरे अकाउंट में ट्रांसफर करेंगे. Nikita will transfer $10,000 to my account. Now, I am sitting in India. Tell me whether these $10,000 are of any dollar. Can I use it in my own country to make any payments or anything? क्या मैं rent dollars में pay कर सकता हूँ? नहीं. So when I receive that dollar, I have to go to the bank. I have to sell that dollar to the bank and buy rupees from the bank. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I have to go to the bank, I have to sell my dollars to the bank, and I have to buy rupees. Similarly, opposite situations also. Ki Parth is sitting in the United Kingdom, I have to transfer him 8,000 pounds. अब आप आपका जब ACCA का एग्जाम फीस बुक करते हो वो 147 pounds आता है, correct? You don't have pounds. So in a way what you are doing is through your credit card, you are buying pounds. अब हाउ आर यू बाइंग पाउंड्स? बैंक आपको बैंक को रुपीस देना पड़ेगा. बैंक विल गिव यू पाउंड्स. 15,162 समझो आपका अमाउंट आया बेस्ड ऑन द एक्सचेंज रेट. आप वो पाउंड्स खरीदते हो एंड यू पे दोस पाउंड्स टू ACCA बिकॉज ACCA एक्सेप्ट्स पेमेंट ओनली इन पाउंड्स. So when you need to pay in foreign currency, you have to buy foreign currency, and when someone sends you an amount, you have to sell that foreign currency and convert it into rupees. यहां तक ठीक है? अब एवरी अदर आइटम जो आप सेल परचेस करते हो दैट इज अवेलेबल ऑन एनी गली नुक्कड़. बट व्हेन यू टॉक ऑफ फॉरेन एक्सचेंज, व्हेन यू टॉक ऑफ करेंसी, आई कैन नॉट गो टू जश एंड से भाई मुझे $10,000 दे. द ओनली पर्सन फ्रॉम whom I can buy dollars is a bank or an authorized dealer. ऐसा गली नुक्कड़ पे नहीं मिलता है. ऑल्सो यू नो दैट पोजेशन ऑफ फॉरेन एक्सचेंज बियॉन्ड अ पर्टिकुलर लिमिट इज अ पनिशेबल ऑफेंस. आप आपके जेब में होशियारी दिखाने के लिए डॉलर लेके नहीं घूम सकते. व्हेन यू अराइव इन द कंट्री, आई मीन if people have traveled overseas, I have not traveled overseas, I only know that when you come into the country you have to surrender whatever foreign exchange you have and you have to convert it into your currency, right?
No, so INR, it's not allowed to take your Indian rupees abroad. You have to surrender all your INR.
So when you are leaving the country, if you have seen this movie English, she gives a big bunch of notes of Indian rupees and she gets around 10 to 12 dollar bills in her hand. So when you leave the country, you have to surrender Indian currency and buy foreign currency. Who sells this to you? A bank sells this to you, or an authorized dealer. Throughout this chapter, we'll call it a bank. Now, we need to understand one thing. अब बैंक वहां पे क्यों बैठा है? बैंक is sitting here to make money. और go by this line, हमेशा हमारा कटता है. Whatever might be the situation, we will always be in a position of disadvantage. हमेशा the individual who is dealing with the bank उसका कटेगा. अब कैसे कटेगा? Let's try to understand that. The way foreign exchange quotes are written is a very interesting way. Okay, they write $1 equal to INR 71.72. This is how a foreign exchange quote is given. If you ever go to an HDFC bank का branch, you will see we buy and we sell. ऐसे करके लिखा रहता है वहां पे. What does that mean? Let us try to understand. Okay, bank will always make a profit and you will always be in a disadvantageous position. Like what happens in life, you are always in a disadvantageous position. The same thing will happen in case of foreign exchange. Bank कमाएगा at your expense because bank has to survive. Now, bank will sell $1 for 72 and bank will buy $1 for 71. That difference of INR 1 is the slash income which the bank earns. Are you with me so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, can you please explain this sell and buy from the bank point of view? What do you mean by
Okay.
selling?
Bank is sitting there to earn money. It is not sitting there for charity. So bank will always sell at a higher amount and buy at a lower amount. Right? तभी जाके बैंक को फायदा होगा. See, अपना हमेशा कटने वाला है और bank is always going to earn. So how does bank earn? Bank earns by selling $1 to you at 72 and it buys $1 from you at 71. वो जो बीच का ₹1 है ना per dollar, that is bank's income.
Okay, perfect.
Now, इसको कुछ specific terms है, but we'll not get into that just now. We'll get into it slightly later. So, if I invoice 10,000 USD to Mr. Mehta and he remits 10,000 USD to me. I am sitting in India and USD is of no use to me. So I must go to the bank and sell USD to get INR. Do you agree? मुझे
Yes,
बैंक
sir.
के पास जाना है, मेरा डॉलर उनको देना है और उनसे रुपीस कलेक्ट करना है. ठीक है. I sell USD means bank will be buying USD. I sell USD
Yes.
means bank will be buying USD. Bank buys USD at a lower rate. That rate is 71. So I will get 7,10,000 from bank in exchange of 10,000 USD that I had received from Mr. Mehta. Does this make sense to you? मैंने जितना बोला उतना और कुछ नहीं. Does this make sense to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
The opposite case. Okay. Josh sends me an invoice for goods I purchased from him. It was an invoice for again $10,000 का माल मैंने खरीदा. Now I am in India and all I have is INR. To pay Josh, I need USD, which I don't have. Now, of course, I cannot go to Mr. Mehta's house and ask him for money. But if someone gets to know that he has kept dollars in his house, you know, it will be a big issue for him. And I don't want Mr. Mehta to land in a problem. So what I do is I go to the bank and say, I need dollars. Can you sell me? I want to buy USD to send it to Josh. अब हाँ, मैं ऐसे बहुत चाइल्डिश टर्म्स में बता रहा हूँ. ऐसे वो आपको हाथ में डॉलर देगा, फिर आप जाके जज को दोगे, ऐसा सब नहीं होता. All this happens through banking channels. This is dumbing down so that we understand. This is how I explained myself some years ago. To buy USD, I must sell INR to the bank. Okay. Now I am buying USD, which means bank will sell USD. If I have to buy, it means the bank has to sell. And we know that bank sells at a higher amount, buys at a lower amount. So I will end up, bank buys, bank sells USD at the higher of the two rates, that is 1 USD is equal to INR 70. So my cash outflow will be how much? 10,000 into 72 is equal to 7,20,000. This is how foreign exchange rate is quoted by the bank, and this is what that foreign exchange rate means. And guys, one very important thing, अगर for some reason अपना कल कोर्स खत्म नहीं हुआ तो हम 15th को भी क्लास रख सकते हैं थियोरी के लिए. But in this chapter I am going super slow because I want you to understand what I am talking. इसका कभी कभी ना सेक्शन बी में 10 मार्क का आ जाता है. लास्ट अटेम्प्ट में आया था मेरे 2 स्टूडेंट को, तो थोड़ा मस्ती मत करना इस चैप्टर के साथ.
So can I ask one question?
Of course you can.
So you said वो जो 1 होता है 1 रुपी जो होता है वो उनका वो होता है कमीशन, और वो लोग उस पे भी तो चार्ज करते हैं. स्प्रेड, सॉरी. तो अगर जब हम एक्सचेंज करवाने जाते हैं तब भी एक कमीशन प्राइस चार्ज होता है.
वो अलग है, वो अलग.
Okay.
Don't bring that here. I'm just talking about कि कमीशन, उसका परसेंटेज, उसका वो एक्सचेंज फीस, वो सब को मतलब इसमें. I'm only talking of what does the exchange rate mean. वो कमीशन अलग होगा, वो अलग से भरना पड़ेगा अपने जेब से. I'm only talking about $10,000. How do I take care of it?
Okay.
ठीक है.
Sir,
अब
so can we say that when we buy from bank it is above market rate and when we sell to bank it is below market rate?
although what you are saying is okay from an understanding POV, ये दोनों market rate ही है. This is not above or below. Bank sells at 72 and bank buys at 71. That's it. So when you are, see, forget foreign currency ना. अगर मैं कोई, if I'm say I want to sell and buy this phone, तो मैं buy 10,000 में करूँगा और sell 15,000 में करूँगा, तभी मुझे profit होगा ना. तो सिंपल टर्म्स में आई एम नॉट सेइंग अबव और बिलो, आई एम सेइंग यार ये कमोडिटी मैं 10,000 में खरीद रहा हूँ, 15,000 में बेच रहा हूँ. अब जस्ट वो मोबाइल फोन को फॉरेन करेंसी से रिप्लेस कर दो. बैंक बाइज एट 71 एंड बैंक सेल्स एट 72. 1 रुपया बैंक का प्रॉफिट है. फोन बोलेंगे तो बहुत इजीली समझ में आएगा. कंसिडर दैट दिस इज अ फोन, इट्स नॉट अ डॉलर, इट्स अ फोन. बैंक बाइज अ फोन at 71 and bank sells the same phone at 72. That in short is how a foreign exchange rate is quoted.
Okay.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, tell me.
Suppose if you said that if a person possesses dollars beyond a certain limit in India, it is illegal, right? But if a person who is coming from overseas and he has those dollars in his like wallet,
in his wallet.
Yeah. So basically, he's not. Nobody's going to go and check on him whether he has dollars or not, right?
They can check.
I have never done immigration, so I don't know that
they
part.
Can
check kar sakte ki nahi.
Yeah, you have to declare in that landing form that how much cash you are bringing.
It's a limit, bro. That's like if you're bringing 10,000 USD, more than that you have to declare. If it's less than 10,000, it's fine.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
They do random checking on customs.
See, there are 3 people, at least 3, 4, where they included, who are not here. Bobby to is in an amazing place, London. He's right next to Heathrow, by the way. I don't know right next to, but very close by is what I know. है ना? And once he showed us the London skyline once in that September batch. Maybe किसी और दिन उनको बोलेंगे जब टाइम होगा ना, we'll ask him to show us the London skyline.
And Heathrow is totally shut.
Heathrow is
hardly
totally shut.
Hardly any flight.
Why everything is shut right now. Anyway, so यहाँ तक कोई डाउट कहीं पे अटक रहे हो? कुछ हो रहा है? कुछ हो रहा है? कुछ नहीं हो रहा है ना? ऋषभ 2 कहाँ पे है अपना? ऋषभ गाला दिख नहीं रहा है मुझे. निखिल ऑल ओके? समझा?
ये सर एक बार एक्सेल शीट स्क्रॉल कर दो ना डाउन.
हाँ कर देंगे. आप लोग बोलते हो सर मैं पूछूं क्या? अरे पूछो यार, जो पूछना है पूछो.
सर थोड़े नीचे.
इसीलिए आई कीप दिस चैप्टर टुवर्ड्स द एंड. अब सब बड़ा एनपीवी स्टेटमेंट वगैरह कुछ नहीं बनाना है, बस इतना ही है.
Okay, sir, done.
Now let's try to understand what is the meaning of appreciation and depreciation of currency. बड़ा interesting concept है. Let's try to see what is that. Appreciation versus depreciation. 1 मिनट के लिए भूल जाना कि ये डॉलर है, ठीक है? Just consider that it is an apple. One apple. Apple यार वो फोन नहीं है ना. Mr. Mehta will say phone. Chalo, let's change it to an orange.
No, Arisha, I was thinking Apple keeps a Dr. Vina, I was thinking that. Not that phone.
Apple, which is fruit. Let's be very clear. The fruit, not the device. One apple right now is available for 70 rupees. Okay. Today. After 2 days, that same apple. Imported है. फॉरेन एक्सचेंज का बात कर रहे हैं ना, इंपोर्टेड एप्पल खाएंगे हम. तो वो में भी नहीं मिलता है, ठीक है? Today, to buy one apple, you have to pay 70 rupees, and tomorrow to buy the same apple, you have to pay 72. It means the purchasing power of your rupee has fallen. Do you agree? एक एप्पल खरीदने के लिए पहले आपको 70 रुपए लगता था, अब सेम एप्पल खरीदने के लिए आपको 72 रुपीस लगता है. व्हाट विल यू से? रूपी हैज डेप्रिशिएटेड कि रूपी हैज अप्रिशिएटेड?
Depreciated.
Rupee has depreciated because the purchasing power of rupee has gone down. And what were you using that rupee for? You were using that rupee to buy a fruit known as an apple, correct? Right? अब थोड़ा सा लाइफ को वन स्टेज कॉम्प्लिकेटेड करते हैं. रिप्लेस एप्पल बाय 1 USD. 1 USD today was 70 and 1 USD tomorrow is worth 72. So rupee has depreciated while USD has appreciated / gained. Sorry, spelling. Does this make sense to you? When 1 USD was worth 70 and after 2 days it became $1 equal to 72 rupees, which means the purchasing power of rupee has fallen. वही $1 खरीदने के लिए अभी आपको 70 नहीं 72 rupees देना है. That means rupee has grown weaker. If you read the ticker tape which is there on your ET, वहां पे लिख के आता है ना डॉलर गेन्स, रूपी गेन्स. वो ये होता है, ये गेन्स नहीं, ये लूज कर रहा है. रूपी इज लूजिंग, डॉलर इज गेनिंग. Yeah. So in a question 70 का 72 हो रहा है तो हर मतलब don't jump to a conclusion कि वो appreciate हो रहा है. See what it means and then arrive at your own inference of the given situation. पहले $1 was worth 70 rupees and now to buy the same $1 you need 72 rupees, which means the purchasing power of your rupee has fallen and dollar has become more and more expensive. This is what it means. Any issues so far?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Sir, it's the same thing as like the pound appreciates and the ACCA fees get higher.
हाँ, pound नहीं, rupee depreciates ना.
हाँ, rupee appreciates.
Rupee depreciate हो जाता है, तो मैंने जब भरा था तो £1 was 82 ऐसा कुछ, और अभी 103 या ऐसा कुछ चल रहा है ना, if I am not wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
102, 103 something.
तो वैसे भी this exam is not cheap. उसमें आप ऐड कर दो, खत्म. Now let us understand how these exchange rates are fixed. Now there is, let's say, कोई भी commodity का price is determined in the share का price is determined in the stock exchange by the forces of demand and supply. किसी भी commodity का price is determined by the forces of demand and supply. Similarly, if the foreign exchange rate between two countries is determined freely solely on the basis of demand for a particular currency and supply of that currency, it is a very free economy of determining the foreign exchange rate. It is called as the freely floating exchange rate system or the floating exchange rate system. यहाँ पे demand for a particular currency and the supply for that currency, that helps you to determine what will be the exchange rate between two currencies. Government का कोई भी intervention नहीं है. Only market forces of demand and supply will help you to decide what will be your exchange rate. ठीक है, that is a floating exchange rate system. कोई government intervention नहीं है, पूरा demand supply से decide हो रहा है. अगर आप शेयर खान में कभी मतलब whatever is your demat account, if you log in, वहाँ पे आपको currency rate भी ऊपर दिखता है, and mostly in terms of dollar दिया रहता है वो. $1 is equal to 72.45 or whatever is the rate on that particular day. That is determined because it is a freely floating exchange rate system. Free economy है, आपका demand supply determine कर रहा है. As opposed to that, there are certain currencies where there is a lot of government intervention. अब do you know one particular currency जहाँ पे it's not a freely determined exchange rate, वो exchange rate fix हुआ है, it मतलब moves and fluctuates according to that.
Dirham.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Sir,
when
Chinese
sir,
currency?
QR and SAR, they are determined, they are fixed against USD. Like for
Fixed against
example,
USD.
one QR is 3.65. It won't change. It is affected by USD only.
Correct. Now, the thing with government intervention is it doesn't remain a free economy then. In some cases, the government deliberately devalues the currency for promotion of exports. So that is when government जानबूझ के उंगली करता है in order to control the exchange rate mechanism because they have certain other objectives to achieve. Devaluation is usually considered as failure on a lot of fronts for the government. तो जब गवर्नमेंट आके बीच में इंटरफियर करके एक्सचेंज रेट डिसाइड करता है, at that time it is a fixed exchange rate system where demand supply से नहीं but government intervention decides what should be the rate of exchange. Now, as the examples that you gave me, of course related to that, till the time Indian economy opened up in 1991, अपने यहाँ पे एक mixed system था for determination of foreign exchange rates. ऐसे तो free market था, but whenever the government wanted, it could enter and peg a different rate. अब वैसा system नहीं है. Now it is a free floating system. The British pound till a certain point of time was a fixed certain point of time. मतलब बहुत पुरानी बात है. Most of you had not even taken birth at that point of time, except for say me, Prakash and Bobby. You were not on this planet. So if we are talking of that time, even the US pound was determined, the exchange rate for US pound was determined by the government to a certain extent. Now all economies have opened up. But in economies like Cuba or I don't know, North Korea does it, but a lot of these communist countries, we don't really believe in the fair or free market play. ऐसी जो countries है, they determine their foreign exchange rate using a fixed exchange rate model, and they don't allow the forces of demand and supply to work. Cuba is one name I remember, from the top of my head. और तो कोई currency मुझे एकदम से याद नहीं आ रही है. And of course, those are very weird countries. एक दिरहम आपने बताया. Anything? Any other?
So can we take name of Chinese currency, because they usually do it to promote exports? They usually devalue their currency.
Even Japan does it.
Even Hong Kong dollars are fixed compared to the USD. I think.
Right. Even the Japanese also do the same. Although Japan is an expensive country. So, of course, I haven't been to any of these places. मैं बातें ऐसे कर रहा हूँ, मैं गया नहीं हूँ कहीं पे भी. I'm here only.
जाएंगे सर, अभी आप जाएंगे?
हाँ?
जाएंगे अभी आप?
I wish, and I have a plan. Let's see if it works out. Apart from the backpacking trip of Eastern Europe that I have planned, छोटा सा, पूरा Eastern Europe नहीं. I really wish.
सर दुबई आ जाओ कभी. It's very close by.
अरे हाँ, अब तो लेकिन हमें कोई आने नहीं दे रहा है ना.
अभी because situation is really bad,
But let's not talk of that. It's scary.
Yeah.
Mr. Mehta, there's another Mr. Mehta who's troubling me. Please take care of him.
Okay, sir.
Details I'll send.
सर फोड़ने का या दुबाने का?
यार से समझा के छोड़ दो तो अच्छा है, नहीं माना तो फिर नेक्स्ट इसमें फोड़ देंगे.
ठीक है सर.
तो सर मेरा हेल्प लगेगा फिर.
So free of cost.
Thank you, Mr. Mehta. He's so helpful.
Just come during the exam class. Just sit here next to me and
I don't mind. I don't mind. But na, it happens as like once you start teaching, वो स्टूडेंट के जैसे लिखना शायद पॉसिबल नहीं होगा, बट हाँ conceptually पेपर में हेल्प कर दूंगा.
So just tell us the MCQ answer. That's it. 60 marks you're getting it.
Wow. वहीं पे हाँ, true. 60 marks तो वहीं पे हो जाता है.
हो जाएगा.
Now I'm putting up one example for you. Please try to understand what is happening there. कहीं पे भी अटको, please tell me. Sometimes I end up saying this to my colleagues also. कहीं पे भी अटको, please tell me. When what I want to say there is, if you get stuck, figure it out on your own. I am not helping you. I don't even answer their calls. But ये class का आदत है ना, सब जगह वही होता है. हाँ guys, one important thing. कल जो लोग शाम का सेशन अटेंड नहीं किए थे ना, कल का लेक्चर जरूर सुनना. सेकंड क्वेश्चन इन दैट लेक्चर, इट वाज अ वेरी डिफरेंट क्वेश्चन. So if possible, listen to 7th of May's lecture. Half an hour का second question है, वो अलग है एकदम. वर्किंग कैपिटल का हमने किया था. Now, ये जो रिस्क है ना, ये वाला, इसको बोलते हैं ट्रांजैक्शन रिस्क. There are 3 risks. Okay, one is transaction risk, one is translation risk, and तीसरा रिस्क है वो सबसे एंड में देखेंगे. बट पहले, this is my risk involved transaction wise. ये transaction of sale purchase किया है, यहाँ पे मुझे risk हुआ. This is what I have mentioned. Sometimes if I listen to what I say, it sounds so bad. यहाँ पे मुझे risk हुआ, ये देख लो. But आपके लिए अभी इतना ही necessary है. Question 1. Now, transaction risk मतलब जो sale purchase का transaction होता है, then आपका settlement होता है, that is my transaction risk. Translation risk is when I am preparing my financial statements and my debtors are standing at $10,000 and I have to see on the reporting date, I have to apply the rate applicable on that date. तो मैंने ऋषभ नाम का डेटर बुक किया, तब वो 71,000 पे था. On the date of preparation of balance sheet, for some reason the foreign exchange rate changed and this became 69. मुझे balance sheet में I cannot show ऋषभ at 71, I have to show him at 69. This is my translation risk. So balance sheet item से related जो risk है वो translation risk है. P&L item से related जो risk है, your daily routine transactions, that is your transaction risk. Now in FR, do you have foreign exchange fluctuation wala accounting standard?
Yes, sir.
Half of them are saying no, तो either है ही नहीं या पढ़ा ही नहीं है, वो चैप्टर छोड़ के चले गए.
Can you say again?
There is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Forex risk वाला, forex risk नहीं, you call it foreign exchange fluctuation there. Accounting standard होगा ना आपको FR में. तो
फिर वही है ना, नॉन मॉनेटरी एंड मॉनेटरी आइटम.
हाँ, फॉरेन रिस्क का है.
मतलब है इन शॉर्ट.
है सर, है सर.
हाँ,
नॉन मॉनेटरी को नहीं लेते हैं, उसको पीएनएल में नहीं डालते हैं और मॉनेटरी को डालते हैं पीएनएल.
वो यहाँ पे मत लाना, वो भूल जाना. आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू टेल यू दैट फॉरेन एक्सचेंज इज एवरीवेयर.
So, can you repeat balance sheet what you said?
If the risk relates to balance sheet items, it is translation risk. हम वो करेंगे. Just giving you an overview. Rishabh the debtor was standing in my books at 71, because on the date of transaction 71 का rate था, but आज वो rate has changed to $1 is equal to 69. So now Rishabh is standing in my books at 69. वो जो 2000 का loss है, that is my translation risk. अब वो अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड में कैसे ट्रीट करना है, लकीली वी डोंट हैव टू डील विद दैट वन राइट नाउ. लेट्स लुक एट दिस. On January 1, a UK firm enters into a contract to buy a piece of equipment from the US for $3 lakh. Okay, whenever you have a question related to this foreign exchange, identify what is your home country and what is the foreign country. ये important step है. Home country UK. Foreign country USA. And how is the exchange rate quoted? 1 GBP is equal to USD 1.6. इसमें एक डायरेक्ट और इनडायरेक्ट कोट वाला भी कॉन्सेप्ट है, वो बाद में देखेंगे. वो एक्चुअली आपके सिलेबस में नहीं है, बट गलती से एमसीक्यू में पूछ लिया तो यू शुड नो. नाउ on 1st of January, a UK firm enters into a contract to buy a piece of equipment from the US for $3 lakh. ठीक है. 1 pound is equal to 1.6 USD. अब प्राइस ऑफ इक्विपमेंट कितना है?
300,000 US$.
हाँ जी, 3 लाख USD है. In GBP terms, it will be 3 lakh divided by 1.6, 187,500 GBP.
Yeah.
This is the date of the transaction. ठीक है. I will call this transaction date. Settlement date. 31st of March is the settlement date. What if the pound has strengthened? Now 1 GBP is equal to USD 1.75. Okay, 1 GBP is equal to USD 1.75. To settle, UK guy must pay कितना? 2 lakh नहीं, sorry, 3 lakh upon 1.75. Are you with me so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
if
sir.
the pound has strengthened, that is the dollar has grown weaker, it means one thing, that instead of paying 1,87,500, what am I doing? I am now paying only 171, whatever that amount is. So as an importer, have I gained or have I lost?
Gained.
Gain.
An importer, I have gained. Okay. On the other hand, settlement date, situation 1 बोलते हैं इसको. एक और सिचुएशन कंसिडर करते हैं सेटलमेंट डेट का। सेटलमेंट डेट BBP depreciates. Now 1 GBP is equal to 1.45 USD. Settle, UK guy must pay कितना 3 lakh on 1.45, which means 206,896 या 897 हो जाएगा ये। So when the pound depreciates, the importer suffers, and when the pound gains, the importer also gains. इसे याद मत करना, जैसे जैसे आपके सामने क्वेश्चन आएगा you have to solve it. ठीक है
सर?
This is the, हाँ बोलो।
सर जैसे मतलब क्वेश्चन ठीक है कि उन्होंने इतना रिस्क फेस किया, तो हमें हमारे सिलेबस में ये नहीं है कि वो मिटिगेट कैसे करते हैं रिस्क?
नहीं, मैंने सुना नहीं, क्या बोला आपने?
जैसे जो रिस्क है लाइक करेंसी डेप्रिशिएट होगी तो उनको ज्यादा देना पड़ेगा अमाउंट होम करेंसी के हिसाब से, और एप्रिशिएट होगी तो कम देना पड़ेगा। तो जो जो एक्सपोर्टर है या फिर जो इम्पोर्टर है, जो भी मतलब पार्टी इन्वॉल्व जो मतलब पे कर रही है, तो वो मिटिगेट कैसे करेगी रिस्क? वो मतलब इन्वॉल्व नहीं होगा, वो मतलब हमारे सिलेबस में नहीं है।
वही है हमारे सिलेबस में। That is what
क्या
is
आगे बात
actually
कराओगे?
there.
So settlement.
Yes, Dishant?
अभी इसके बाद कराओगे मतलब आप?
हाँ, मतलब अरे वो रिस्क सेटल करने के लिए पहले रिस्क होता क्या है वो तो समझ में आना चाहिए ना।
वही पूछ रहा हूँ, मैंने कहा ये तो मतलब हाँ इसके बाद वही होगा ना। ठीक है,
वही है सिलेबस में। That is the problem that we have to solve. Yes, Rushav, you were saying something.
Yeah, so finally, what do you have to explain? Like, what do you have to do in this? Like, I understood the calculation part, then like, what do you have to do?
So here you can say risk faced by the UK firm is additional cash outflow of dash amount.
So the first one is profit and the second one is a loss. You can say like that.
We can call it profit and loss from an accounting perspective. अगर हम F7 कर रहे होते तो हम शायद वो बोलते, but यहाँ पे let's call it a risk. Let's not call it a profit or a loss. ठीक है? Although what you are saying is 100% correct. There's no problem. The second risk, guys, that ये तो एक हो गया अपना transaction risk. एक होता है translation risk. Translation risk is the part which I told you where I sold goods to Rushabh on 20th of March. On that date, I recorded the debtor at $1 is equal to 70. So 70,000 rupees में record हो गया $1,000 का sale. Now on the balance sheet date, rate of exchange is $1 is equal to 68. तो debtor 70,000 से मुझे जबरदस्ती 68 पे quote करना पड़ेगा. For what reason? For a very simple reason that I have to apply the rate prevailing on the balance sheet date. तो ये जो balance sheet items में change होगा because of the foreign exchange rate movement, that is known as translation risk. ठीक है? And third risk that we are going to discuss is the economic risk. Economic risk is the variation in value of business due to unexpected change in exchange rate. Long-term version of transaction risk. And now what does that mean? Variation in the value of business. If you remember the valuation chapter, how did we calculate value of business? We used to calculate the present value of all future cash flows from a particular item. Correct? अब हमारा हम always assumption होता था I am sitting in India, I am getting money in India, so everything was hunky-dory. What if I start this project that I am setting up, I want to set it up in some another country. I want to set it up in say Australia. Now मैं cash flow तो निकालूंगा, लेकिन डिस्काउंटिंग फैक्टर लगाने से पहले मुझे उसको फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रेट से मल्टीप्लाई करना पड़ेगा. And foreign exchange rates can fluctuate wildly over a number of years. मतलब when say maybe 10 years ago छोड़ो यार 5 years ago, when 2016 I registered for ACCA, कुछ 80-81 रुपीस चल रहा था पाउंड का रेट. आज वही पाउंड का रेट 103-104 है. तो if I am talking of future cash flows, I first have to convert them into rupees now while doing investment appraisal. Correct? अब वो जब मैं rupees में convert करूंगा, तो these numbers will undergo a change, and the value of the business that I want to acquire, that number might undergo a change. So that is the risk कि आप discounting करने से पहले जो exchange rate लगाते हो, that is $1 is equal to, yeah, £1 is equal to 80 rupees, but on the actual date when the transaction happens, वो कुछ और ही rate है. तो investment appraisal का inherent risk है कि the cash flows I am assuming are mostly projections. तो ये projections अगर accurately नहीं बने होंगे तो that is the first risk. Then choosing the wrong discounting factor is the second risk. As if that was not enough, as if that uncertainty was not enough, I am adding another nonsense to the mix. Ki if these cash flows are coming from a foreign country and the foreign exchange rate fluctuates, you are again facing a risk. So that is the economic risk. It's basically multiple transactions over a 4 to 5 year time horizon. Now,
Sir, I have a question. Suppose a person buys, like the importer, he imports it for so and so, and when he's actually settling the day, the amount on the date, he pays the amount to the other guy, maybe in USA or UK. Like the amount he is actually going to pay, will he be agree to take that loss, or he might decide to postpone the settlement date and take it when he actually gets the.
अब postpone the settlement date वाला जो situation है, that depends on how are your terms with the supplier. Normally no supplier will be willing to accept a postponement. अगर आपको foreign exchange risk को avoid करना है, there are several ways of avoiding the foreign exchange risk, which of course we are going to study. But अगर you push your supplier for extension of the time period for payment, there is a very high chance that he will ask you to pay a higher amount. That can happen.
Okay.
So that is the risky part here.
Okay, sir.
Anything else from economic risk point of view before we do one question related to that? Yash, अपनी मैत्री कुछ पूछना है?
No, sir.
Sir, just wanted to know, you gave one example, Australia. So what you are trying to say that you are in India and you want to do something in
Australia? Set up the project in Australia. So the cash flows are coming from Australia. So India में Australian dollar नहीं convert हो क्या है ना वो?
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
Let's look at another example. Now economic risk. A US exporter sells one product in Europe on a cost plus basis. The selling price is based on a US price of $16 to cover cost and provide for a profit margin. The current exchange rate is $1 is equal to 1.26 euro. What would be the effect on the exporter's business if the dollar strengthened to $1 is equal to 1.31 euro? First of all, identify the home currency, home country, home currency, whatever you want to call it. Home currency. Exporter USA में है.
Yeah.
So USD and Euro. Home currency is USD, foreign currency is Euro. Now, he plans to sell one particular product on a cost plus basis. Selling price is based on a US price of 16 to cover cost and provide for a profit margin. The current exchange rate is $1 is equal to 1.26 euro. What this means is that while selling in Europe, selling price based on current exchange rate will be कितना होगा 16. ऐसा लिख लो. Always write it like this. 1 USD is equal to 1.36. 1.26 euro. So 16 USD is equal to that is equal to 16 into 1.26. Make sense? Selling price in Europe will be 20.16 euro. This is what is the situation right now. Now, the problem that they are facing is, what if rupee, sorry
20.16 ही होएगा, मतलब मेरा 12.69 आ रहा है.
आपने डिवाइड किया है क्योंकि 16 को
एक
मल्टीप्लाई करना पड़ेगा ना निकिता.
हम USD को यूरो में कन्वर्ट कर रहे हैं ना.
हाँ, $1 is equal to 1.26 euro, तो $16 will be 16 into 1.26 ना.
एक मिनट मैं करती हूँ.
देखो मैंने क्या लिखा है, बस उतना देखो. Look at this part, only this part, nothing else. समझा आपको कैसे आया?
Yes sir.
Now, what if the dollar strengthens to 1.31? Sale price in Europe will be 16 into 1.31, 20.96. Now we know that as the price increases, the quantity demanded decreases. Correct? When the price increases, the quantity demanded decreases. ये price change जो हो रहा है commodity का, that is not because of any other factor. It is simply because आपका foreign exchange rate में fluctuation आ रहा है. So when this happens, the commodity will become more expensive in Europe, so less people will buy it. As the commodity becomes more expensive in Europe, less people will buy it. To ensure that demand for the product in Europe, demand for the does not go down, I must keep the price at 20.16 euro. But my exchange rate now is 1 USD is equal to 1.31 euro. That means in USD terms, I will have to reduce the selling price. कितना करना पड़ेगा? 20.16 upon 1.31. I'll have to make my price in US terms, US dollar terms, 15.39 USD. Abhi jaake I'll be able to sell it in Europe for 20.16 euros as the original situation was. अब पहले मेरा प्राइस था $16, वो चेंज हो गया 15.39. Naturally, the profit margin will fall. Correct? This is situation 1. इकोनॉमिक रिस्क कैसे हो सकता है? बिकॉज दिस इज अल्टीमेटली गोइंग टू रिजल्ट इन अ फ्यूचर कैश फ्लो. Situation 1. What can happen in situation 2? That I keep my price at 20.96, but then I lose on demand. Mera demand for my product will go down and I will have to face that problem. So I have to make a decision. Either mera profit margin kam karo ya mera fall in demand, be ready to face the fall in demand. Now अगर ये question investment appraisal chapter में होता ना तो आपको पूछा जाता, should I reduce my selling price and agree to sell at 15.39 USD, or should I accept the fall in demand that is going to happen and move ahead with that? तो आप क्या करते हैं? आप दोनों का relevant cash flow निकालते, दोनों का present value निकालते, जहां पे present value ज्यादा वो option आप choose करते. Had this been a question from investment appraisal, but ये question investment appraisal का नहीं है, ये forex का है, so you have to underline the risk part. Situation 2.
Sorry, so how did you get 15.39?
One sec. I don't agree to reduce price and profit margin. I sell at 16 USD, which is now 20.96. This means that demand for the product will get affected and I will have to bear it. Okay. See, Rishabh, what happened here was, now commodity has become more expensive clearly, right? It is now worth 20.96 euros in the continent, right? Now, because the commodity is expensive, I know that less and less people will buy it. I don't want my demand to go down. So मैं यूरोप में अपना प्राइस 20.16 यूरो ही रखता हूँ. I keep my price at 20.16 euro. When I am fixing the price at 20.16 euro, my exchange rate is $1 is equal to 1.31, right? US terms में 20.16 euro will be equal to how many dollars? 20.16 upon the current exchange rate of 1.31. वैसे 15.39 आया. Situation में profit margin कम हो जाएगा. Situation 2 में demand कम हो जाएगा. So this is an investment appraisal question. You would have calculated the PV of both options, and because this is inflow, आप वो option choose करते हैं जहां पे आपका present value ज्यादा है. ठीक है? This is what an economic risk looked like. Guys, are you with me so far? Anyone who wants to ask anything, please ask.
Can you scroll down?
Yes. Sir, I have a question.
Yes, tell me.
Like you said, like the person will not sell it at below 16 USD, that 15.39 rate, because he doesn't want that. He wants the profits to be higher than to get the demand. But then you said that the exchange rate, the market rate, is always affected by the demand supply forces. So if he does not agree to change it, then his euro will depreciate more, right?
No. So यहाँ पे he is saying कि मुझे तो 20.16 पे बेचना है, मुझे मेरा USD प्राइस चेंज करना पड़ेगा. I will have to invoice them at $15.39, तब जाके वो 20.16 यूरो का प्राइस बनेगा ना.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
तो एक मिनट ऊपर करना, मतलब if ऋषभ is done. मतलब मुझे क्वेश्चन देखना है एक बार.
क्वेश्चन देखना है, देख लो.
Done, sir.
ठीक है. Now छोटा सा कॉन्सेप्ट डिस्कस करते हैं, देन वी कैन टेक अ ब्रेक. आज तो मैं खुद सामने से ब्रेक दूंगा बिकॉज आई वांट यू टू ऑब्जर्व वर्सेस आस्क. एक्चुअली नॉट आस्क, आपके ACCA के बुक में इसको ऑफर बोलते हैं. Whenever I राइट माय फॉरेन एक्सचेंज कोट में कैसे लिखता हूँ? 1 USD is equal to INR 71, 72. Bank sells at 72 and bank buys at 71. 71 is called the bid rate. 72 is called the offer rate. In some book offer rate को ask rate भी बोलते हैं, but अपने book में इसको offer बोला है, तो we will go with the word offer. Bid and offer.
सर
हाँ बोलो.
तो वो स्टॉक मार्केट का कॉन्सेप्ट हो रहा है जो हम लाइक कोई बाय करना सिक्योरिटी तो बिड और आस्क प्राइस आ रहा होता है वहाँ पे बायर्स आर विलिंग मतलब जो बिड प्राइस होता है बायर्स आर विलिंग टू गिव that price of the security and ask is that the seller is willing to there is a difference between the bid and the ask stock market कोई concept होगा ना
बैंक के एंगल से बोलते हैं. We don't talk from our
वो सर
perspective.
ठीक है मतलब
हाँ बोलो.
मतलब concept तो वही है ना like bid and ask का कि जो buyer like bank is the buyer here.
हाँ bank is the buyer, yeah, correct.
ठीक है.
So here bank is buying na 71. In that case, bank is the buyer. 72, bank is the seller. ठीक है. अरे मुझे फास्ट बोलते हैं ना तो मुझे समझ में नहीं आता.
ओके सर वो मेरी थोड़ी आदत है
नहीं मैं खुद को usually in meetings also I'm like एक तो half the time I don't pay attention in office meetings, so I have to say अच्छा what did you say? There was a network problem. नहीं यहाँ पे it was not a network problem, it was मेरा दिमाग का network is going slow. Do you work, Dishant? Are you working right now? गायब कहाँ गया?
Sorry?
And whether he Dishant आप काम कर रहे हो अभी? Are you working somewhere?
No sir, I am in college, third year.
Okay, nice. And whether he is on her exam leave, correct?
No sir, exams got over. Back to work.
Back to GT.
Yes.
Good old cute GT.
Yes. Very cute.
Very cute. Okay. So guys ये bid और offer तक समझ में आया है. Before we go to, we'll do one question and we'll go for a break, and of course after that the real part of this chapter. By the way, अभी तक कुछ difficult लगा है आपको? नहीं ना?
No.
It's like consolidation chapter in accounts. People say it's difficult, but it really isn't. Can you see my Excel? Of course you can see my Excel. Okay. तो मैं क्वेश्चन कहाँ से उठाता हूँ आपको पता है ना?
Yes sir.
आपकी भी चुप, मेरी भी चुप. ठीक है? This is a secret that we are
It's not
keeping.
only you. It's not only you. Even in FR, they are referring to so many questions from.
अब क्या हुआ है ना? मैं उसी में my journey as a professional has been in Kaplan. तो okay, I'm so not supposed to mention names. Has been through a certain book. चलो, forget that. मैं मुंह खोलूंगा हमेशा जरूरत से ज्यादा बोलता हूँ. Okay, this question. The US dollar rate per pound is quoted as 1 pound is equal to 4325, 4330. ठीक है? 1 GBP is equal to 1.4325 and 1.4330. अब फटाफट लिख देने का. बैंक sells GBP at 1.4330 and bank buys GBP at 1.4325. Okay. Sells at 4330, buys at 4325. Selling at a higher rate, purchasing at a lower rate. That makes your life easier. Now, company A wants to buy 1 lakh pounds in exchange, $1 lakh in exchange of sterling. Company A wants to buy USD. To buy USD, this company has to go to the bank and sell GBP, which it already has. Again, no surprise here. GBP is my home currency. Okay. Buy USD, this company should go to the bank and sell pounds, which it already has. Company A sells pounds. Company A sells GBP, which means bank will have to buy GBP. What is the rate at which bank buys GBP? 1.4325, correct? Bank buys GBP at 1.4325. 1 GBP is equal to 1.4325. तो ऐसे नहीं, इसको ऐसे लिखते हैं. बस मजा आ रहा है?
Me, sir?
हाँ.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, for buying 1 GBP, bank buys it at 1.4325 USD. Ab bank wants to do what? How many pounds does the, what does the bank want to buy?
Pound.
Let's change this argument. एक level of complication बढ़ जाएगा. Buy USD, this company has to go to the bank and sell GBP. Company A buys USD, which means, one second. Company A sells pounds, which means bank will have to buy pounds. And bank buys GBP, means it sells USD. ये एक ही चीज को मैंने घुमा घुमा के अलग अलग तरीके से लिखा है. See if you can make sense out of it. These 3 lines that I have written, see if you can understand what I have written here.
Yes, sir.
अगर कहीं पे अटक रहे हो तो tell me right now.
So bank is buying GBP at 1.4325, right?
हाँ.
And in this case, they're buying GBP.
Is correct. So
okay,
it has to buy. Okay, it is buying GBP in exchange of dollar, right? Someone's calling. If you haven't understood this, there's another way of putting the same thing in front of you. अगर ये नहीं समझा होगा तो बताओ. We can rework this whole understanding.
सर समझ गया सर. Easy है.
हाँ सर, वो वापस कॉम्प्लेक्स हो जाएगा.
अच्छा है. बैंक sells GBP. Okay, नहीं. Company B का देखते हैं. What is company B saying? Company B wants to sell dollar. Company B wants to sell USD. it goes to the bank to sell USD and in exchange buys GBP. If company B buys GBP, that means bank must sell GBP. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
ये थोड़ा सा absorb होने में टाइम लगता है, बट इफ यू फॉलो दिस मेथड एग्जाम में आपको कोई ऐसे रैंडम फॉर्मूला याद करने का जरूरत नहीं है. दिस विल हेल्प यू. Again, cross multiply. $69,784.